So, welcome back everybody to thermodynamics ES 211. In the previous class, we talked about first law analysis of control volumes, that is open systems, and we also talked about, that is Professor Bhargav was talking about that. We also talked about how the first law changes. For that we first required the first law in a rate form. So, we wrote it in a rate form, and then from there we saw, if you consider steady state processes where at any given point in space variables are not changing with time, then we call that a steady state process. So, in steady state processes we saw how do we write the first law for steady state processes. So, we will continue with that, and we will actually today we will discuss some important applications of the first law analysis to open systems or to control volumes. Okay. And in fact, we will take up some practical devices that is used, some of which are household devices, some of which are larger in industry scale devices, and we will just do their first law analysis. We will of course not look into the nitty gritties of the devices that I mean that requires discussion of far more details, which is frankly beyond the scope of this course, but we can do an overall fast law analysis, which is the first thing that you do whenever you talk about these kind of devices. Okay. So, that is what we will talk about, and we will see how these devices work. Okay. So, let me write down the first law. First law. So, you might recall that you can have a control volume like this. It can be of any arbitrary shape. You might have an inlet here, which we might call I, and you might have an exit here, which we can call E for exit, and then if we write the first law, and this is the control volume. So, this is the control volume. So, if you write the first law for this control volume with inlet and with some inflow at the inlet and outflow at the exit, the first law becomes dE dt. So, we express it in the form as dE dt, where E is the internal energy of the control volume. So, that is the internal energy which is there inside the control volume. Okay. Or rather the internal energy, or rather I should not say internal energy. So, E is the energy of the control volume, it contains internal energy, but this E is the energy that is in the stuff which is inside the control volume. Okay. That is the energy, which includes internal energy, kinetic energy and potential energy, right. This is equal to, we saw that the rate at which heat is coming in. So, this we can call Q dot Cv. So, this control volume, let me use another color maybe, right. So, this control volume might be receiving heat from some source. So, this might be receiving some heat at rate Q dot Cv. This has the units of kilojoules per second or joules per second, that is watts, and at the same time this control volume might also be doing some work. So, this is W dot Cv. This work we have seen that this is something we will quantify it as something called a non-flow work. So, why that is the case, that will clarify. It has already been clarified in the previous class, but we will again go through it very briefly just to give you the context. Right. So, then I write W, so Q dot Cv minus W dot Cv, this is work done, non-flow work done by the control volume. We will see examples of this kind of work shortly, and then you have to do energy in because of flow plus minus energy out because of flow, right. And we saw that the energy in this case will be m dot I. So, suppose the inlet, at the inlet the flow rate is m dot I, at the exit the flow rate is m dot E. So, this is m dot I times H I plus half V I capital V I squared plus G Z I minus m dot E H E plus half V E square plus G Z E. So, this is the total energy that is coming in with the flow at the inlet, this is the energy that is going out with the flow at the outlet at the exit, and so these are the mass flow rates at the inlet and the exit, and these are the kinetic contributions from the kinetic energy of the fluid that is flowing in or flowing out. This is the contribution from the potential energy, and you might recall that why we are getting enthalpy is that, see, this enthalpy has two parts. So, it has internal energy which is U E maybe if I write at the exit, and then it also has the P E times V E part. This is the expression for enthalpy. So, it has two parts. So, this is the internal energy of the incoming or the outgoing fluid, in this case it is the outgoing fluid. So, this is the internal energy of the outgoing fluid which should be taken into account obviously because it is going out. Similarly, this is also accounted for when the fluid is coming in at the inlet, right. Now, you might recall that this extra term should also be accounted for when there is a flow, because to sustain the flow you have to do some work, right. So, to sustain the flow, the fluid that is outside the control volume here at the inlet is doing some work on the control volume. So, that work is taken care of, that work has the expression like P inlet times V inlet, small v inlet, and here at the exit, because the control volume is pushing the fluid out, it is doing some work on the surroundings, that is on the outside, and that we can write as P exit small v exit. We have seen that this is how flow work looks like. This is the rate at which you have to do work to sustain the flow. This is something that we have derived. So, these two are sometimes, as we said, loosely called as flow work, and these are being continuously done to sustain the flow, right. This is being done on the control volume, this much work is being done by the control volume on the surroundings. So, you have to account for that. So, you have to write, you should write, ideally speaking, you should not write this as U as the H I, but we can write this as U I, we can write this as U E, and then we can add the, or rather we can take care of the net work due to flow, right. We can, instead of writing this as enthalpy, we can just write here internal energy, thus the energy that is coming in, and then we can separately take care of these two terms by adding a flow work here, and you can see that this flow work happens to be just P E V E minus P I V I, okay. And this, by the way, this small v's are specific volume, this is specific volume at the exit, this is specific volume at the inlet. So, instead of writing enthalpy, we could have also written internal energy here, and then separately put this P V terms here in the flow work, right. But as you can realize, we can then combine these P V terms with these U terms which are here, and we can call them as enthalpy, okay. And so, one way to visualize this is that since there is a constant inflow and outflow, to sustain the flow you have to continuously do work, and that work, the work that you are doing on the control volume at the inlet, it is coming in it is coming into the control volume as part of the flow energy, right. Similarly, the work that the control volume is doing to sustain the flow or to push out the fluid from the exit, that work is going out of the control volume as part of the flow energy that is going out. So, that is one interpretation of these terms of the enthalpy that comes here, and this is, and there are also alternative interpretations, right. You can also say no, the energy that is coming in is only internal energy, and we should separately account for flow work, okay. But fortunately what happens is, you see, flow work you can express in terms of state properties, and once you can express them in terms of state properties, you get the same final answer no matter what is your description. Okay. So, there is kind of a, there are many ways you can interpret this, but ultimately you see that you get enthalpy here. Okay. So, the interpretation that we will take is that this is the flow energy that is coming in. The flow energy has an additional term of PV, because this is the work that you have to do to sustain the flow. As I said here, alternatively you can also say this, there is no such thing as flow energy. You can say that this is just internal energy coming in, this is internal energy going out, and then you separately take into account the PV terms through flow work by including another additional term in terms of flow work, which happens to be PIVI minus PEV, something like that will come, right. Whatever you do, you get the same answer. Okay. And this is why we are calling this work done as the non-flow work, because if you take the second interpretation, this work done is work done to sustain the flow, right, which is why this W dot CV is the non-flow work that the control volume is doing against the surroundings. So, this, for example, what kind of work are we talking about? So, this can be if the control volume is expanding, you can include that here. If the control volume, so if you consider a turbine for example, and there the fluid that comes in, it rotates a shaft which generates energy. So, that rotating of a shaft is work done, and that you include here. Okay. So, these kind of works which are non-flow work are all included in this term. Okay. And the flow work is taken care of separately by writing enthalpy here. Okay. Okay. So, right. So, this is the general picture. Let me remove this term, remove this, because we will be talking about this form only. So, if you have multiple inlets and multiple entries, you just put a summation over here. Okay. All right. And with this you also need conservation of mass. Which is dmCV dt. This is rate of change of mass of the stuff inside the control volume. Again I will repeat, this is rate of change of mass of the stuff that is inside the control volume, that is equal to the rate at which fluid is flowing in, m dot in minus m dot out, or m dot exit, m dot e we will write in short, m dot I, not in, m dot I minus m dot e. And you can so this is pretty simple, right, and remember that these are all have units of kg per second, and these are all rates. So, these are all units of kilowatts or kilojoules or joule per second, sorry, kilowatts or watts or joule per second or kilojoule per second, all of these. Okay. All right. So, with this background, let us try to now see what happens at steady state. So, we notice that at steady state, and steady flow. So, steady state meaning that we discussed in the previous class, Professor Bhargav discussed that ddt of any term goes to 0, right. So, you can drop the time derivatives, which means that from this first law this term drops out. From the first law this left hand side drops out, and here this left hand side drops out. Okay. So, in steady state we can write, so the first law becomes, right here, first law becomes q dot Cv minus w dot Cv plus m dot I times Hi plus half capital Vi square plus Gzi minus m dot E, this is a dot, He plus half VE square plus GZE, assuming that there is only one inlet and one outlet. In general, you can put a summation here if there are multiple inlets and multiple outlets. Again, recall that this is the velocity at the inlet, this is the potential, this is the height of the inlet from some reference plane, this is the enthalpy of the fluid that is flowing in at the inlet. Same analogous definitions apply here for the E subscripts as well. So, this is equal to 0, that is the first law at steady state, and conservation of mass is m dot I minus m dot E equal to 0, because dmCV dt is 0. So, keep in mind that we are now only talking about one inlet plus one outlet, okay. Because if you take into account multiple inlets and outlets, you have to put a sum over all these terms, okay. That I think is trivial, you can do it yourself. So, now what we will do is we will take some examples of some devices where to which we can apply this relation, the first law and the conservation of mass. These two are very fundamental relations, and then we will see what we get out of applying first law to some household and some big industrial scale devices, okay.